incredible. And also another big victory for Tevin Farmer, shout out victory, defending his IBF super featherweight title, joined up here by the champion, and of course my partner, Lou DeBella. I'm gonna, not like that, but I'm gonna pass over to the champion, Tevin Farmer, to say a few words, and then we'll go to you guys for questions. Tevin?
I ain't really got too much to say. I just want to thank all the media for coming out and supporting this fight. You know, y'all could have been at the other spot. You know, because y'all were here with us tonight. So thank y'all.
Last questions for Tevin?
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. This is Hyman with All Access Elite Boxing. You know, you fought a
All right.
you know, you fought a tough, gritty fighter tonight. Were you surprised with anything as far as you know, his relentlessness and his coming forward?
No, somebody asked me that question earlier. I feel like at this level, don't not surprise me at the level. I feel like that's what they're supposed to do. At a world championship level, anybody coming into the ring and fighting for a world title is supposed to be that way. So I didn't expect none less.
My follow-up question is, how would you assess your performance tonight?
I mean, I'm never gonna be satisfied with my performance. I asked my trainers and they dictate that. I can have the best performance of my life, and I'm gonna still think that it's not the best performance. So, you can ask them.
Do you want JoJo Diaz? I was there in Las Vegas when you washed up on him and started all that. Is that what next for Tevin Farmer?
I want to use vacation, for real, to be honest. I don't care what champion that is. But if I can't get that, I definitely want JoJo Diaz. I feel like he the next big dog under the guy with the belts. And I want to fight the best. And it's hard to get them guys in the ring with me. So I definitely take JoJo if I can't get an vacation fight.
What's your beef with JoJo?
There ain't no beef, you know. People think they can beat me, so they gotta holler at me. They talk trash on social media without seeing them in person. I run it down on them and see what the big beef is about. But it ain't really no beef, you know. It's a competitive sport. We all young and hungry, and we just want to see who the best.
Tevin, so you got Tevin Farmer, Stephen Fulton, J-Rock, Julian Williams. Talk to me about this resurgence of Philly boxing.
I'm proud of my city. A lot of people doubt Philly, you know. Everybody know we have a lot of great fighters there, but a lot of fighters from Philly don't get to become champion of the world. So I'm proud of the guys we got. We got 3 of them. You know, J-Rock hold about 3 belts, and salute to them, man. We doing our thing, and hopefully we can get more in the future.
Yes, at the back.
Is a fight with Tank Davis possible? I know he fought tonight. He also won. Y'all done stuff with Joshua and Ruiz. Is it possible to cross over and do a Tank fight?
Yeah, we've made, I think, 3 offers now. So,
He turned him down.
yeah, well, I don't think he even got to hear about it. If he did, I think he would have been very excited.
And these are legitimate offers that you're gonna put on the table.
No, they're just pretend ones I made up.
And it never got to him. It never got to him.
I feel like maybe Davis really wanted to fight, but you know sometimes they say in boxing you gotta protect the fighter from themselves. You know we tough and we won't quit. So I feel like that's part of the case in his case. He might want to fight, but his handlers know that he's not ready for it, and they're not gonna make it happen until they think that maybe I get older or something. But I'm still young. I'm young as hell. I started boxing at 19, and I'm not really taking punishment.
So why you not gotta give Tank that first zero?
Say that again.
Why you not gotta give Tank that first L?
Man, you should already know. We'll be going there since 2014, and I just want to be the guy. I don't feel like if anybody else do it, it's not gonna be satisfaction to the fans. I feel like I have to be the one to do it.
Back then, he was telling you to get a belt. Now you got a belt. You just defended it on your 4th defense.
He told me to get a belt back in 2017. He said get a belt. I got a belt, and then Floyd said, "Oh well, we ain't worried about Tevin Farmer. He a 5-figure fighter. Now I'm making 7 figures, and it's still excuses. I got a belt. I defended it 4 times. I probably defended more than him. What you think?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. You know." And they keep saying, and, you know, fans are biased too. They say Tevin Farmer not fighting nobody. But then if you fight once a year, you fighting top dog, they're gonna say you're inactive. Then you fight more than you fight 3 times or 4 times a year, but you fighting well but step up to the plate, then they say you're cherry picking. So
You defended it 4 times in 9 months.
yeah. 4 defenses in 9 months. and I fought for 5 world titles in less than a year, and nobody doing it like me. I don't care who it is.
And by the way, I want to give Eddie some credit because when we made this deal, one thing Eddie promised Tevin and myself was activity. He said, you know, we're going to keep you active and you will fight regularly, and 4 times in 9 months, you know, he's delivered on what he promised. So
Well, Lou, do you want to get him in there one more time before the year is over?
Oh, absolutely. He's going to get in there one more time before the year's over. And we want, look, the fans deserve a big fight. He deserves a big fight. The zone, at this point, after doing his last 4 fights, deserves a big fight. And we want to get him one. Jojo Diaz is fighting on the zone. Let's get it done. Let's do that fight.
I think if it wasn't for the mandatory tonight, he would have had that big fight at this stage.
Yeah, we had no choice but to do the fight tonight. And by the way, the dude we fought was competent. I mean, he's not, you know, it wasn't the most exciting fight on earth, but the guy knew what he was doing. There's a reason he had 46 wins.
Tevin, stylistically, you're a tough fighter, you're defensively sound, you're not easy to hit, but today we saw you get touched a little bit. What do you need to do to improve on this performance?
That's what I'm talking about. You say, when I first came out in the first 4, 5, 6 rounds, I boxed just about ass off, you know. If I did that all 12, then you'd have been asking me, do you think you need to go on the inside a little more? Now, when I go on the inside for a couple rounds and I get hit, it's boxing. We supposed to get hit. I don't know what boxers that don't get hit, you know? You probably can count on one hand how many times I got hit, or 2 hands. But I don't know. This sport is crazy, and yeah, I got hit. I supposed to, but I'm not lumped up. I'm not cut. I'm not bruised, and I haven't been bruised. I've probably never been bruised. I don't know. I've probably never been bruised. I promise. I don't know. It's hard. These fans is crazy nowadays, man. That's why I always say, man, when you did it, you going, the boxing fan gonna move on to the next person. So go in there, do what you do, get paid, leave out with your morals, and go home to your family. So if the boxing fans want to see a bloody war, go support the people that's gonna give you a bloody war. And the people that want to see defensive fighters, come see me. That's how I feel.
And we had Pernell Whitaker. He had rest in peace Pernell Whitaker on his shorts tonight. I thought there were moments in that fight. There was one point where he was against the ropes, and that kid threw about 7, 8 punches in a row, and not one of them hit. And I actually applauded at that moment. I was the only person in the area applauding. I think I was surrounded by Mexican fans. And we know what the kind of style they prefer. But there was some brilliant defense in the fight, and there was some brilliant boxing. I mean, there were times I would have preferred, I said this to him, I would have, you know, and we talk honestly, like we're family. You know, I said, like, I think you could have put the foot on the gas more at times. But you know what, when you're doing everything and it's working, and you almost go into like cruise control, like a car. And he was in cruise control, and he was dominating almost every round of the fight. I'm not gonna criticize a guy for winning almost every round of the fight.
It's really hard though. Like fighters, people don't understand how it is when you're in a fight. That shit look easy as shit on the outside, but it's not as easy to look. They say, "Oh, you could hit with that shot." It ain't that easy. Like that should be hard.
Mine was
right?
Like,
they got 2 excellent fighters over there. Reed and my boy Devin. Like they tell you that should be hard. Like it's like playing chess. I'm a hell of a chess player. And when I'm on the outside, I'm like, damn, you can make that move. But when I'm playing, and somebody tell me that, I'm like, I don't see that shit.
Kevin.
Yes.
You won most of the rounds. The 5th round being the lone exception, you lost out on all 3 cards. Was that just a round off because you seem to not use your legs as much and it kind of stood in there?
Honestly, I don't even remember what the 5th round was.
All right.
I don't know how. I gotta go watch the fight. I don't know.
Eddie, how realistic is a Golden Boy versus Matchroom card, maybe with Canelo versus Andre, and then Tevin Farmer versus Jojo
We
Diaz?
want the Andre fight. I mean, I feel bad for Andre that Canelo doesn't want to seem to fight him, and maybe Golovkin as well, but he's just got to keep winning. Unfortunately, the fight is no longer an undisputed fight because of the WBC franchise situation, and I think that maybe affected Andre's chances of getting that fight because an undisputed fight would have been very attractive. So, yeah, look, you know, Golden Boy and us obviously putting fights together all the time, and the Jojo Diaz fight, it shouldn't be difficult to make. I mean, Diaz wants to fight, and Tevin wants to fight. I love the Berchelt fight as well. Bob fancies that one. Always keeping him on for Lomachenko, I don't know. But the Berchelt Farmer unification is a great fight. So is the Tank Davis fight. But certainly, as I say,
Well, give us the
What
shot.
about my Marine?
Who?
What about my Marine, who's the WBO?
Yeah, Eric. We'll have him as well.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be a great fight.
Marine,
Let's
yeah.
do
Let's
it.
do that. We've got a mandatory first.
He's fighting a Roach, yeah.
When?
October 9th.
November 9th? Yeah, for
Oh, no,
Veterans
we
Day.
too happy, we can't wait for that. I'll be back in the ring by November.
Eddie, how much is the value that that WBC franchise, that make-believe belt, is messing with your business?
I thought I saw Jose in here today too, by the way.
It's great if you're the franchise champion. You know, if you're a champion and it's a way to avoid mandatories and a way to fight whoever you want, and even better, if you get beat, you're still champion.
Shouldn't the number one contender be legitimately a really good fucking fighter?
Yes,
Like,
that's
shouldn't
the
that be a
problem.
really fucking good fighter?
That's the problem.
So
What
people
about,
wanna see
what
the
about
number one
Dino's
contender?
Chinese guy, who's a mandatory for being?
No, but that gets to this whole, I mean, the thing about this franchise champion thing that troubles me in general is that if the thing is, the system is working right, if the system is working right, you wanna see the number one contender, he's earned the right to be there.
And when was the system working right?
It hasn't worked right in forever. Yeah, but when you start making franchise champions and the organization itself is saying, oh, fuck our own mandatory, they're almost hitting the point where they're gonna start destroying themselves. I mean, because at that point, what does their belt mean?
Well, they have
I'll give you
an
an-
interim.
I'll give you the
Interim champ,
I'll give you-
franchise champ, golden champ, silver champ,
What
Mayan
about
champ,
Pearl
fucking
champ?
Pearl champ.
Amir Khan is a Pearl champ.
But I'll give you a perfect example of a scenario, right? You've got, in my opinion, the best young fighter in the world over there, Tevin Farmer. He's fighting, or due to fight, a final eliminator against Abdullayev. The only reason he wants to fight Abdullayev is to become mandatory for Lomachenko.
Who's gonna be the franchise champ?
Lomachenko, once he gets beat by Luke Campbell, might rematch.
Well, then you can make it. Then you
No,
can
but
make
then Luke
it.
Campbell will
Go
make-
ask Luke Campbell
Yeah,
to
but the
fight.
problem is, you're gonna fight, what'll happen is, in that situation, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But you're gonna fight Commie,
Right.
and then he's gonna become the franchise champion.
Right.
So Devin never gets a shot at Lomachenko.
Well,
So,
that,
number
that
one,
may very well be because he signed with the wrong company.
But in all seriousness, it makes you not want to fight a final. Why should Devin Haney fight a final eliminator? He's not.
He shouldn't.
That's what I'm saying.
I know, but you.
First time me and you have agreed.
So,
on
so don't bill it as a final eliminator.
Well, no, we're not going to bill it as anything.
But here's another weird thing that's about to happen. They're not gonna recognize the BC regular belt as a unification because the franchise. Right, because
He's not the real champion.
He's not the real
He's the
champion.
real champion. Wow. We could talk about it.
These are things that go on behind the scenes, y'all.
Tevin just wants a burger. Ladies and gentlemen,
Tevin, good job.
Am I supposed to throw it over?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Sorry guys. That's part of my reach.
Tevin, good body work, bro. Kev, forward this way.
Yeah, what up, baby? Program.
Good work.
Good job, Kev.
He says he's ready to fight Vasily Lomachenko.
Thank you so much,
So
man.
basically, you're not in the life right now.
Oh yeah, I've been trying to, man. I've been trying to speak the truth, man. Nothing but the truth.
You did?
Well, you're 20 years old. And most fighters at 20 lose a lot of stones. I know you got a great night. Everybody had a good time. But you feel that you're special for
Fighting in the main event. One guy wins, one guy loses. And Farmer's shown what a tremendous fighter he
I feel like,
is.
let me see them like this. I was gonna tell you, I feel like him and Shakur is the best.
Hey guys.
Very good.
Yeah, him and Shakur is the best too.
Curry's at
Yeah,
126,
yeah,
at
I'm saying,
135.
yeah, I'm not comparing.
Oh, right.
I'm not comparing them. They the best too. All them other motherfuckers hype, they hype train.
Nice body work today,
Thank
bro.
you, man.
Nobody asked you about that, but that was good.
Yeah, I was trying to, yeah.
Off the back of a
Yeah,
brilliant.
he did. He did.
Tevin, quiet please. off the back of a thrilling unification fight, just want to say that myself, on behalf of Matchroom Boxing, and obviously I'm sure Dino will speak shortly as well, how proud we are of Maurice Hooker for the way he fought tonight, but also the way he conducted himself in the build-up. I thought both of them were absolute consummate professionals in and out of the ring tonight. He gave it absolutely everything, and we're extremely proud of him. I'm going to pass over now to Maurice, and I'm going to open the floor to questions.
First question.
Yeah.
Maurice, how much did that first round knockdown, that they scored a knockdown, how much did that affect you going through the first round, knowing that you're down 10-8, even though it was a slip because you stepped on your foot?
I was pretty upset, when we got to the corner, and I was trying to explain to the ref, but my coach like, man, it's just one round, you got 11 more to go, you gotta take one round by the time.
When he started fighting on you, did that give you problems? Because it seemed like in the third or fourth round, that's when he kind of changed the momentum of the fight.
Oh no, I was just trying to wait on with my right hand. I was just had my mind set on my right hand. Didn't think about my left hook and nothing. I had my mind set on my right hand.
Yeah.
Going into the fight, you told me that it would be a tough fight for you, but after the fight now that you've been in there, what's your assessment of Ramirez, and what do you think of everything that was going on in there?
I mean, he's a champion for a reason, and tonight just his night. Tonight was my night. Take my head off of my head. I had nothing bad to say about him. Tonight just was my night.
Did he show you something that you haven't seen him do yet?
Nah, he ain't showing me nothing special. He ain't nothing special. But, I mean, tonight is his night. Take my head off.
Was the weight an issue?
Nah. I wasn't any issue. I made weight pretty fine.
Mel, congrats on putting on a great fight tonight. What was it like fighting in your hometown and then your first big fight like that?
I mean, everything was okay, I wasn't distracted or nothing. It just won my night.
Do you think, I mean, I know you didn't get the win, but do you take pride in putting on a great fight?
Yes. I mean, I went out like a true champion, If I had to choose way to go out, I'm go out like that. I want my coach stopping the fight and then like that. I won't take no knee. I would go out like that with a bang.
Mo, you stood your ground and you fought, man, and we commend you for that. Hindsight's 20/20, and everything's easier said than done. But do you feel like you probably wanted to move a little bit more in the fight tonight?
Yeah, man. My coach telling me get off the ropes. But I was comfortable on the ropes. He was swinging a lot of shots, but none of them would hit me really. It wasn't a clean shot when I was on the ropes. I was blocking and I was okay on the ropes. But my coach wanted me to get out. And that was my fault.
Maurice Hooker. Because I love the fight. When he came into that final sequence that stopped the fight,
Right.
the first punch that really seemed to do the damage was a big hook. Was that a matter that you just didn't see it, or was it that good of a shot that you couldn't take it?
Man, to tell you the truth, I lost focus. And at this level in boxing, you can't lose focus for a quick second or nothing. I lost focus. I was trying to play with my jab, trying to distract him with my jab, and I just lost focus. And he hit me with a clean shot.
Are you looking for the rematch next?
You wish Mo would have used his legs a little bit more?
I wasn't excited.
Yeah, Vince, do you wish Mo would have used his legs a little bit more, create more distance and spacing from the beginning of the fight?
Well, that was the plan initially. We didn't want to be on the ropes. The slip in the first round, he got into his head a little bit, but I wanted to calm him down, and I wanted him to get on his toes a little bit more and use the jab, because when he did, it was really effective. But Maurice is a fighter, man, and he really, I tell him one round at a time, but when I thought he was getting back in the fight. I think it was almost even on the scorecards, almost just about. He was getting back into it, and like he said, he lost focus for a split second, and when you win it with a guy like Jose, it's it can cost you.
Vince, from your perspective, and 4-5 were close. Both men had their. Did you feel before that left hook that you guys started to kind of turn the tide, that you liked where that fight was tactically?
Well, yeah, I knew that, we know the fight starts after the 5th and 6th, and, even though Maurice started off going at it with him, it's just one of those things, man, and only, these guys are the ones in there that are throwing, and at this level, like he said, he'd get back into it, he'd do a lot of good things, and then as soon as Jose would get him with a good shot, he didn't want to, he wanted to get it back really bad, you know what I mean, and, no excuses, he was great, he's in great shape, like you say, he lost focus, and at this level, you can't afford to do that, especially with a guy like that, but, yeah, I thought we were getting back into the fight, and, hey, my hat's off to Jose and his team, like I said, if we would have got it, could have been the other way around. You know, we hit him with some good shots, and it's just, you know, shit happens. You know, at this level, he was the better guy tonight, but I'm proud of my guy. He just, you know, things happen, and you know, we just move on.
Eddie,
Do you have to see Jose again before your career's over? Is that a rematch you want, regardless if it's 4 or 5 years from today? You want to avenge this loss, or if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't.
It happened, if it don't. But I would love to fight Jose.
Hey Mo, you represented Dallas well, great job. I'm proud of you. Did his body attack slow you down at all? Because he was going downstairs, upstairs.
Tell you the truth, I ain't feeling his body shot. His body shot didn't bother me. Yeah, Jose's a good fighter. I mean, he caught me with a good shot right on the button, but I ain't really feel his power.
You also landed some big bombs of yourself, and I've seen people go to sleep with them. Were you surprised he was able to take your shots?
Nah, because it's a championship fight. He's a champion for a reason. And I knew that I had to give him like past the 8th and 9th round ready to get him out. And man, I just lost focus. I just lost it.
Eddie, what do you see as the outlook for Maurice going forward?
Well, I think he's got to speak to his team. I mean, I think he made weight well this time. Obviously, not so well the time before. I think he may look at a move to 147. I think, as I said to him in the changing room, when you're involved in a fight like that, even in defeat, your stock rises, especially when it's a unification fight against. I think right now, I'm sorry, Regis, but on paper, and the performances and the opponents beat, you have to say that Ramirez is number 1 in the division. That might change in October.
Nah.
It's true. It's true.
It's 24 no 20 knockouts, never even been tested yet, never even been close.
You may be better than Ramirez. But
I
you
saw
haven't got his resume right.
82 raised tonight, and so that's the #1 guy in the division. Now, what happens down the road, we'll have to see. That's boxing.
Okay, any more questions for Maurice?
Yeah, Mo, given the situation in the first round, and obviously we saw on the replay that it was not a knockdown, it was he stepped on your foot. Would you be in favor of instant replay in boxing? Every other major sport has it.
Yes, I mean, that'd be a good idea, you know. Probably would cut me down a little more going to the second round, because I was pretty pissed off about that call. I mean, he clearly stepped on my foot, but, you know, I had no excuse.
If the fight had been held in Nevada, which has instant replay, that knockdown would have been reversed.
So they would score a 10-9 instead of 10-8, right?
Yes, exactly.
Well, let me ask you, every fighter, whether victorious or in defeat, they learn something from themselves. What did you learn from yourself tonight?
Tell you the truth, I feel like I beat myself. I knew at this level right here, I can't lose focus like that. And I mean, I beat myself. They're gonna hunt me. They're gonna kill me for the next couple of weeks, knowing that I beat myself. I mean, I beat myself.
Now, both of you guys had moments throughout the fight. There was times where he did have you on the ropes and he was landing, or rather throwing a lot of punches. Was the strategy for you to get him tired, in which he would come on more in the second half of the round?
Yeah, that was my strategy. I want him to like swing himself out, and then when you try to take a break and get a breath, I was gonna attack him, you know, go to the body, and he's just too tempting.
And Eddie, do you guys feel comfortable with how the ref stopped the fight, especially with what happened this past week?
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view as a spectator, you know, Maurice's head was going back repeatedly. The ref did jump in very quickly, but I think watching it back on the replay, I think it was the right decision. And I think that it was because of the hand speed of Jose and the attack of Jose. You know, if he would have taken his time, and I think Maurice would have been okay to continue, but it was the speed of the punches repeatedly knocking his head back. I don't know how you feel about the stoppage, but I feel like it was good.
It was good. It was a good stoppage. I was hurt. I was hurt.
No, the message for all the fans. The arena here was crazy. You put up a great fight. Message to everyone who came out and supported.
Yeah, I thank everybody from Dallas, and I will be back. It's at the end of me.
What we see you before the end of 2019?
I'm gonna go back first, spend time with my kids, and I miss my kids.
Maurice, what do you think about a rematch with Salcedo in the future? That was a great action fight. You won by knockout. Is that something that makes sense at some point?
I would hurt him.
Maurice, looking back, if you could have done things a little differently from the first round, what would you have done? Or are you okay with, from the outset, how the fight played out, even despite the bogus knockdown?
I'm okay with my performance. if I go back, I probably just stay focused, you know. I just got, you know, fighting at home, I got caught up the crowd and just not thinking about the guy in front of me. I was thinking about my hand being raised already, being the champion. I just lost focus, man, and that can happen. At this level right here, you can't lose focus for a second. And you see what happened.
Was the crowd, like when you said the effect from the crowd, was that like before walking to the ring, or was that during the fight?
Not during the fight, you know, you just heard when I get hit, you hear him screaming, when I hit, the crowd get away. Just lost me, you know, it's my first big fight back at home, you know. I mean, I have no excuse, I lost it. It wasn't my night.
For your next fight, do you feel like you need to get on the road again, you know, take a fight away from home so you can kind of get that focus back, you know, the day before the fight, the day of the fight?
I come back to dance. I fight anywhere, you know. With me, it don't matter where I fight. You know, I come to fight every day. I came to fight tonight. And today is one of my days.
Hey, gentlemen, great performance.
Great job.
Hey, Mo, good job, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You gonna do this way?
No matter. Trying to get the footage.
Like 25 minutes.
Hey, Devin, is your fight set in September? It's already set, right? It's gonna be in Las Vegas? Okay.
Come on.
Mama coming. Mama coming. Come on, Nene. She coming. We trying to get through, baby. Mama coming.
Yeah, did you have a preference for these two guys? Did you see us
47, 47 draw. 49, 46.
Bob, question for you and Eddie there.
Yeah.
Question for you guys. So you obviously have all this shenanigans going on with the BC. You two are two of the most powerful men in boxing. What can you do about it?
What shenanigans?
We were just talking about the BC and the franchise belt and all that.
I'm in favor of it.
Oh, you are?
As
Okay.
long as it's selective, I'm in favor of it.
So you're fighters.
You're not. You're in favour of
Canelo has enough so he doesn't have to worry about mandatories. Now, that kid,
You want to see the Charlo fight, yo.
How do you get a shot?
you don't get a shot at Canelo. Nobody, I mean, for example, he has Andrade. Andrade will never get a shot at Canelo, not because of mandatory, because he's the champion of another organization. So this happens in boxing. You don't automatically get shots. The mandatory system is not designed for that anymore.
But Canelo was not stripped of that penalty because he had a mandatory fight in the WBC.
They will have a regular
Do you
champion.
agree if you're mandatory champion, you get beat, you should just remain franchise?
Right, or fight for another organization, for Christ's sake. There's 3 organizations, there's plenty of opportunity. Don't bother Canelo. I mean, he's not my fighter, but he's a face of boxing, face of, particularly with Mexican Americans. And Mexican is the only friggin' guy that the zone has that can move the needle even this much as far as subscription. Let him fight who he chooses to fight. And if you don't want to watch him, don't cover his fights and don't go to his fight. That's my position. Now, I don't think they should make franchise willy-nilly, but Canelo deserves the franchise there.
What about Lomachenko?
Lomachenko doesn't deserve it yet. He doesn't deserve it yet. He has 2 belts. Hopefully, if the BBC doesn't interfere, he'll have 3 belts, and then he'll fight Comey or Teofimo Lopez and have 4 belts. and then hopefully
about
Mauricio
So-
will make him a
So
franchise champion.
Bob, are you saying Canelo deserves it because of his popularity?
Because, and also because of his body of work, and because he's the only friggin' fighter in that division who can move the needle. I think that counts for something. Look, I'm not Canelo's promoter. I wish I was, but I'm not. I'm just saying where I'm coming from.
Bob, would you have a cop?
What?
Does Deontay Wilder deserve it?
If he beats Tyson Fury twice, yeah. That'd
Twice?
be pretty good.
Oh, you mean
They're gonna,
okay.
yeah.
I mean,
fighting
better than the
twice.
guy who
Fighting
tests
twice.
positive for steroids.
Here we go.
And it becoming the mandatory. I mean, give me a break.
Your reaction, Eddie?
What's that?
Your reaction?
Oh, I'm looking forward to August the 31st in London. All the British Boxing Board of Control referee's got to do is...
Let me tell you, I'm helping him. He doesn't realize, he thinks I'm denigrating. I'm helping him because every person who follows boxing in the United Kingdom is going to either be in the O2 Arena on August 31st to see what shenanigans the British Board of Boxing Control, or will buy it on pay-per-view. You should thank me.
I don't agree with everything the British Boxing Board of Control do, but I will say that some of the things they employ, particularly on the medical side,
Yes.
is so many levels above what the commissions do here.
That's right. Sure, because they're doing things levels above the commissions here, and when a guy tests positive, even preliminary, they don't tell the opponent. That's not a medical issue, right? They never talk, what?
That's you.
Well, okay.
Guys,
You're all the same.
Wow, Eddie. Wow, Eddie. How come a lot of motors are not working together, but you guys seem to be working?
Not anymore after what you
I mean, you guys got another one coming up with Luke.
I said with something with Chris Mannix, what I love about Bobby is he will categorically slag you off to your face. He will verbally abuse you, right? He will make you feel like this big, and you will leave that conversation and think, fuck Bob Aaron. And then he'll phone you up a minute later and go, right, about this fight.
Because only a moron takes any of this serious. I mean, you gotta be nuts to take it serious. I love this guy, I love his father. I mean, what am I gonna say? But I'll slack off on you, you can do the same to me. That's okay.
On a serious note, like, I think Top Rank, there's a lot of similarities between the two companies. Like what they've done in America is very similar to our position in the UK. So all their people, Carl, Brad, Harrison, we've got people on the same kind of level that get on very well. So we get deals done very quickly. We're very competitive against each other, and it's great for boxing. I mean, you saw it tonight. If promoters wouldn't work together, we wouldn't have got tonight.
So are we going to get Tevin and JoJo?
Well, they're both. JoJo's not with neither of us. So that's
well, I'm asking you just.
No, if they want a unification, maybe if Floyd doesn't give him Davis, but I got 230-pound champs.
Yeah, what about
And I'm happy to sit down and.
Chelsea.
That's a fun kind of trans styles.
You got Ito as well.
Yeah, but he lost to Harris.
Yes, up the back.
Bob, Spence versus Crawford is obviously the #1
Oh,
fight.
good. This is one for bet. When are you going to make Spence big Crawford? They're asking.
Hey, there you go. Hey, Bobby.
Gentleman down there says,
Spence
hurry up and make Spence Crawford.
Dustin
Why are you wasting
Science fight.
Make what?
I heard you. He said, what on earth are you doing not making Spence Crawford?
All I'm saying is that's a fight
Are
everyone
you
wants to see.
absolutely correct?
Are we gonna wait 5 years like
Everything
Mayweather
else is
Pacquiao?
garbage. Everything else is second rate.
Are we gonna wait
That's
5
the
years like
fight.
Mayweather Pacquiao?
Well, then get everybody to support Spence against Porter, and you'll never get Spence in the ring with Crawford.
Bud's gonna be like 37 soon. We gotta get this going.
Howard, I'm saying, I have told everybody, and Terrence has told everybody, we are up for the fight. We can't fight ourselves. We need to fight Spence
So what's
has
next for
to
Terry?
agree to the fight. Once he agrees to the fight, he'll make Al do it.
But do you
It's
think
simple as
Terrence is
that.
in a rough spot?
What?
Because PBC's got all the fighters. Do you think Crawford's in a rough situation?
Watch all the fighters. They have a few.
Porter, Spence,
That's not
Ugas,
all the
Thurman,
fighters. There are
Manning.
other
That's
fighters.
everybody in the division.
What? That's
Ugas,
not everybody in the
Manning, Thurman, Porter,
division.
Spence.
That's their fighters that they have.
That's what
I
I'm
am
saying.
sure that Crawford will go through every one of those fighters.
I think
And
so.
look at Devin Haney here. He's gonna be a big guy. He'll be able to go get up to 147. Regis, right? You beat that English guy? You
Scottish.
Okay, here we go. Welcome, champ.
Guys, I'm going, so I just want to say, well done to the champ, well done to Steph. Just quickly, as we've covered, just want to say thank you to Bob, thank you to Carl, thank you to all the top ranked team as well, Rick as well. Jose, it's been an absolute pleasure dealing with you. You're a true gentleman. What a fighter you are, what a performance. Robert Garcia, congratulations to all of you, you're a worthy champion, and I will see you all shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, Jose Ramirez.
Thank you. Over here, Rick. Come on.
Where's the belt at? Oh, there you go. See, there's the other one.
I want to congratulate Jose for a great performance. It was two warriors in there, and one won, and the other lost, and that happens in boxing. But I want to make a special thanks to his trainer, Robert Garcia, who did such a wonderful job. Now, let me turn this over to the unified champion, Jose Ramirez.
Thank you, Bob. First and foremost, I want to thank God for the opportunity. I feel very blessed, to be honest, to be here in this position. It's been an amazing training camp. I have an amazing team from my manager, Rick Maurice, to my promoter, Bob Brown, and Robert Garcia, Charles Tremblay, and Jose Contreras was our assistant coach, and Miguel Diaz was my co-man. You know, I couldn't have done this without my family, without the support of my team, without the support of Top Rank, and we're here, and now I'm the unified champion in the 140-pound division. I came here with one mission, so focused just to fight, to do the right fight, and I really didn't put too much attention of the venue or the network. I was just so focused to go out there and just be myself and go back to some of my fundamentals and take my time. I know I've done the mistake before as to come in too aggressive, and me and Robert, we worked this last 9 weeks just on going back to my rhythm and a nice jab and doing everything I did when I was an amateur. What took me to becoming an Olympian, I went back to that. And the punches that hurt most in the professional level are the ones that you don't see coming. So, you know, Maurice Hooker he wasn't expecting me to be explosive because I went back to just using my jab and closing the range little by little as the fight went. And before you knew it, I was able to land my combination, and you guys surprised him. But he's a tremendous champion, and I also want to thank him and his family and his team, and Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, The Zone. They did a tremendous job this week, taking care of our team. I'm having a great time, to be honest. It was a great week here in Texas, in Arlington, Texas. And again, it was a pleasure for me to showcase my talent in front of a new crowd, a new media, new people, to really get to know who Jose Ramirez is.
You talked a lot about your dreams as a young boxer coming up in the amateurs about winning a world title, but then even a bigger deal for you, you said, was to unify the titles, which you have now done. Can you just sort of express what it has meant to you then to now have the second title? I mean, the first one was great, but now you got what you really wanted, which is another one.
You know, I'm still in shock a little bit, to be honest, because I didn't go after a vacant title. I went after a guy who was a world champion, who was a humble world champion, and a humble champion is always going to prepare himself at his best. So I feel very proud of myself and my team because we got the jump done.
Jose, how much you think that knockdown in the first round that Scott scored knockdown threw him off his game? Because he seemed like it took him a while to get back in the fight, was the steps. Well,
the job, the round went kind of fast. The first round, it always goes really fast. But he went back to doing what he did with Alex Acedo, and I think the plan for me to show Maurice Hooker was that I'm a whole different fighter than Alex. I'm a lot stronger than Alex. I'm a lot faster than Alex. And I could box better than Alex. And I think I showed all those three qualities. I just tried to overwhelm Maurice Hooker since the first round, and I could see the way he was kind of losing his balance every time I would touch his arms. Even though the punches were landing clean, I was able to take control of the fight, and I just stayed to the game plan and saw my opening, and thank God that did enough.
Jose,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people question why you left Freddie Roach after winning a title. Why does it work so well with you and Robert?
Robert's a very similar guy like me. You know, we're first generation here in the United States. We come from a hardworking family, work in the fields, and his whole gym is he's always so focused on his fighters. He's so, you know, he's so optimistic and so motivated to train us, and that makes it easier for us to do our job. You know, when we're in the ring, when the coach sees us and he sees you with that expression that you got what it takes, you know, to make it far, then that makes it easier for me to do what I do best. You know, Freddie Roach is an amazing, legendary trainer, and I was blessed to train with him for 4 years. And you know, he showed me something that I didn't know before, and I'm always gonna take that with me. You know, now I just added more to my game plan with Robert. You know, his gym is very family oriented. The chemistry that I have with my coach, it keeps getting better and better. And you know, as time goes on, he learns how to understand me as a fighter better. You know, he knows how hard I work, and I'm very coachable. And I think that's one key for a fighter to succeed, is to continue being coachable.
Jose, speaking of that, can you elaborate a little bit on what your game plan was for Maurice Hooker going into this fight?
My game plan was to close the distance, but not close it in a way where I was going to be overly aggressive to where he saw everything coming. You know, I wanted to surprise him and land my combinations by using different volume on my punches. Some punches just tapping on, some punches really sitting down on them. And I felt like I was throwing that jab, uppercut, jab, touching to the body. Just so I kept him where he's, you know, waiting for me to really commit, you know, and I felt like I kept him thinking, because he didn't know how hard I really hit until the moment came, you know, and that was the game plan, is to use my rhythm and keep my head moving forward, side to side, right at the waist throughout the whole time, not giving them a second to land anything while I was closing the range.
Jose, it looked like you really wanted to invest in the body. Was there something in the previous fight with Hooker that you felt that, you and Robert felt that it was the right game plan to attack the body?
Someone like Maurice Hooker is you know, he's long in range. He's gonna commit too much on his right hand. He's gonna be looking for the right hand all night. So one way to take that right hand away is to hit that body shot, so you can keep it stationary the way I did against Ramirez. Ramirez was also known for having a tremendous right hand, and I kept that right hand station. He kept the right hand station because he felt he touched him to the body with the left hook. I know in an interview before, he said that he was going to try to take away my left hook. I just didn't know how he planned to do that, you know. But my plan was to take away his right hand too. I was just so focused on doing that in the ring, in the fight.
Jose, now that you got the WBO
Boxing Super Series is going to have their final between Regis and Josh Taylor in October. How close attention do you pay to that fight? A lot of discussion about you.
I'm keeping a close attention to the fight in that tournament. You know, and I signed up to fight the best, to be honest. My goal is to fight the best. You know, I'm not afraid to take a loss in my record. I want to go in there and really bring the best out of Jose Ramirez. And the better fighters I fight, the better Jose Ramirez I'm going to, you know, be able to show. And, you know, I'm waiting for that tournament to finish first and foremost. You know, it just depends when that fight takes place. I do plan to also stay active too. I owe it to ESPN and Top Rank for allowing me to come to, you know, the zone and Matchroom Boxing. So I owe them a fight back before the year ends. But then they fight towards the end, and we could be looking at the fight early 2020.
Jose, we talked about, and Robert, congratulations, by the way. We talked about Virgil Ortiz Jr. and the impact he had on you in training, and for both of you, can you feel it in a fight like this? I mean, he's another 140-pounder from Dallas.
Listen, Virgil Ortiz he's a monster. That kid's a monster. he's gonna do really good in the sport. That guy, there's no, I sparred Manny Pacquiao, I sparred so many fighters, and no one hits and has that drive like Virgil Ortiz.
Robert, do you have anything to add on that?
I agree, he's sparred him, and Jose always wants the toughest sparring out there, and he always told me, Virgil's the only one in this gym that gives me that kind of sparring, but I'm also a trainer that I also know that it's not an everyday thing, we gotta switch it around, have different sparring partners. Jose wants to be in there with the best, and he's always telling me, when am I gonna spar Virgil, because that's what he wants, but, it's also my job to take care of not only Jose, but also Virgil, because they both go at war, they go to war, so I gotta look out for both of them.
It's funny because, 2.5 weeks ago, I was doing a 12-round session, and I finished my 12 rounds of sparring, and Virgil had finished 6 rounds of sparring. And Virgil goes, "Hey Jose, can you give me 2 more rounds?" And he wanted to ask Robert, because Robert was gonna say no, right? And so he told me, and I was like, yeah. So I just jumped from one ring to the other, and I gave him 2 extra rounds. So I did 14 rounds, and he did 8 rounds. But that just shows the tremendous talent that you find in a gym like Robert Garcia's, and I think that's something that was lacking at 1.2 at the Wild Card Boxing Gym. There's so many hungry, undefeated young fighters. They're not sparring partners; they're future world champions. And I was, I was going against 4, 3, 4, even sometimes 5 to give me the 12-round sessions.
Question. Now that you got the WBO belt to go with that WBC, have you thought about being undisputed champion, being the second person behind Bud Crawford to do that, to have that opportunity?
Yeah, it would definitely be a blessing for me to become the undisputed world champion. But one fight at a time, and I'm gonna go back to work, and I'm humble for this situation that I'm in. But I'm still hungry, man, and I want to continue getting better. And one fight doesn't define someone. This fight doesn't define Maurice Hooker. This Maurice Hooker is a humble world champion. He's gonna, I guarantee he's gonna come back a lot stronger. This fight only puts me. This fight only shows me where I'm at. Personally, at the end of the day, the criticism and the people's opinions and what people think. That's all. I really don't pay attention to that, man. It's what I feel, and I feel like this are the type of fights that allow me to see where I place myself for myself only, and my opinion towards myself is the only real thing that matters. And this humble opportunity that I got, I took advantage of it, and I plan to continue being a humble champion moving forward and going after the best.
I remember talking about last year. Bob said that Robert's such a good teacher. Besides the fact that you're first generation Mexican Americans, your dad worked in the field. What type of impact has Robert had on you? From a personal standpoint,
in English, I really don't have the proper words in English. But in Spanish, it's like we got that colmillo, we got the will. Tenemos cojones, tenemos like ganas. We have this will to move forward and not to take a step back. And he has it as a trainer, and I have it as a fighter, and those things match up right, and we create a strong team together.
I got a question for Rick. You've been with Jose for a long time. You predicted a knockout. You won't be eating Whataburgers. Can you reflect a little bit on how you're feeling right now?
I'm still gonna take him to Whataburger. I love Whataburger.
No, you don't. So I've been with him since the amateurs, and I've seen him get up for a fight 3 times in 10 years like that. Once was in Brazil when he became an Olympian, going into that fight. The second was New York with the Mary Mom, and the third was tonight with Hooker. He gets up for these big fights, and he's just a different fighter. He lives for that moment. He's always wanted to fight the best. He also understands the business side of stuff, but he wants the best, and I can't wait to see what the future holds on Ecstatic. It's been a 10-year journey at this point, but can't wait to see what comes next. The bigger the fight, the bigger the performance from Jose Ramirez.
You and Regis have been going back and forth on social media for a couple years now. Anything you want to say to him?
Look, first, I respect Regis a lot. He's one of the best fighters in the world. But I talk shit better than him. It's not my fault.
No, you don't.
I don't gotta fight him in the ring.
I talk shit and I fight, but the difference, I talk shit and I can fight. So I think I got a 1-up on you.
Outside the ring, he's
the fighter. You the talker. And that's
outside the ring, he's like one of the opponents he fought early on, like 2-20 or something with me. He's not gonna win, but you know, he makes the sport live. He's one of the reasons why that division is so hot. Between him and Jose, this win tonight, I think the 140-pound division becomes, you know, a staple point in boxing, you know, moving forward. There's some very big fights to make. And as you saw with this one, Top Rank makes big fights. They'll sit down at the table, they'll figure it out, everybody comes together. So, you know, I'm looking forward to that moment. I hope he goes into Taylor's backyard and takes care of business.
Would you give me that
But
fight?
also, we, of course, and Jose acknowledged that we saw a guy sneaking into Mo Hooker's corner before the fight, and Terrence may have to, down the road, pay the price when he gets in the ring with Jose Ramirez in one of the biggest pay-per-view fights that can be made.
If Progress takes care of business overseas, are you guys, Bob? Would you make that fight happen?
We sit down and we make the biggest fights that are possible. Now, there are mandatory fights that he has to do. WBC gave us permission to do this fight as long as we do the mandatories. We get rid of those mandatories, finish them, and then we'll do the biggest fight that's possible.
So for sure, we got mandatories in between. So these guys will have to take the mandatories.
That's what the organizations are telling us.
And the fight will be big. I'll fill the Fresno State football stadium.
Is that where we're going?
If he says so.
Robert, I want to ask you a question. I wanted to piggyback off of, you know, Ramirez told us what makes you special. What makes Ramirez special to you?
Just like he said, you know, we come from similar backgrounds. You know, I'm older than him, but my parents worked the field just like his parents did. You know, my older brother and sisters, they all worked the fields. Me and Mikey are the only ones born here in the United States. Until 87 or 88, that's when my family became legal in the United States. You know, Jose comes through the same, you know, so we live the same life. And then in the gym, obviously, I see the hunger that he's got in the gym, and it just motivates me to push him even harder. He loves to work.
What was the plan going into the fight?
Support of the Latinos here today, even though you're not from Texas, a lot of them support you.
Yeah, you know, I think it's appropriate for me to say that there are so many great American stories, great stories of guys coming up from poverty and fighting. This story of Jose Ramirez is a real American story. The family came over, the mother and father, undocumented. Jose was born in the United States. They're now American citizens, his parents. But it wasn't easy. Working in those fields is backbreaking. Nobody wants to do it other than a lot of Mexicans and people from Central America. It's very, very tough work. And Jose knows where he came from. He was a member of the Latino Water Coalition that fought for water rights for the growers in the Central Valley. He's a standout person for immigration rights, for what's happening in this country with the attitude of the guy in charge towards immigrants. It's an absolute disgrace. Jose has spoken out forcefully and eloquently in the Central Valley and other places, and he is a true leader in his community. And that is something really that is even more important than left hooks and jabs. It is really important to have somebody from this boxing community be as much of an activist as Jose is, and I'm very, very proud of him. The only thing that would have made this night better for me, if instead of Mo Hooker in the ring, Donald Trump was in the
Touching on Mr. Aaron's mentions of Jose's investment in his own community, that outfit that he wore tonight, those shorts, those shoes, that shirt, back home, and we're gonna auction that off and give it all to Maximus family when we're done. And look,
That's good, man.
that attire will go for quite a bit of money. money. You know, we had an opening bid on this last deal we did on the cancer fight we put on in February of $30,000. That's just to open the bidding, and that was just for a pair of shorts. So that attire, I'm sure, will get a record number when we go home and organize it, but that's the kind of fighter and person he is outside of the ring.
You planning on having a celebration in the Central Valley when you get back home?
Yeah, you know, I my son starts school August 13th, so I'm gonna go back and enjoy my house and enjoy the family before he starts school and, you know, become a father and see him grow and see him, you know, go through that school process. But yeah, just, you know, enjoy my family. I'm a quiet guy, you know, I'm the type of guy who likes to barbecue and hang out in the backyard. You know, I really don't like big parties or big celebrations. I'm not that typical guy, but listen, I'm very blessed and I'm happy for this opportunity and I feel really good right now. I feel very excited and I'm just, you know, ready to continue moving and showing the humble champion I am and then showing, you know, the fans the good quality boxing, you know, and one fight at a time. I just want to give people my best, you know, and that's all I could do as a fighter is just show them my best and the best I could do. And there's no doubt that when I step in that ring, I plan to leave my whole heart in that ring until the last round rings. And you know, Rick mentioned what I'm about to do, but I wanted to be quiet. They wanted me to post it before the fight, but I was so focused on the fight. I wanted to do something where, you know, we just kind of announced it in central part of California, and I know I was gonna, you know, raise over $40,000. I also have a scholarship foundation and other foundations that I got started early on when I first went in the professional career. So I was planning to even match that money that I raised, so I could double it and give it to Maxon's family. You know, but at the end of that, again, Maurice Hooker he's a humble champion. You know, he's a great guy. He came with his family supporting on me as his kids. So at the end of the day, I'm just happy that we both came out of the ring well, and we're fine to move forward and continue, you know, giving the boxing fans good quality boxing.
All right, a round of applause.
Because of my neighbors, man. They're just, I know them. I can't leave my neighbors in the back. I gotta take it with me. I gotta fighting, but motivated to fight for themselves. Thank you guys so much.